listen-only mode.
Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us for today's applicant orientation webinar for the National Guild's Catalyzing Creative Aging Program, a new capacity building and seed grant program provided in partnership with Lifetime Arts. This program is being made possible by Aroha Philanthropies, the Music Man Foundation, and MoCA Foundation, and we are very grateful for their generous support. I'm Heather Eichmeyer, the Chief Program Officer at the National Guild for Community Arts Education. I'm joined today by two incredible colleagues at Lifetime Arts, Maura and Nathan. Maura and Nathan, you want to go ahead and introduce yourselves?
Hi, I'm Maura O'Malley, the CEO and co-founder of Lifetime Arts.
And hi, I'm Nathan Majaris. I'm the Program Director over at Lifetime Arts.
Great. And we have one other person with us today, Drew Malmuth, the National Guild's Community Manager. He is sort of at the helm behind the scenes. So if anyone has any technical difficulties during today's webinar, Drew is here to assist us. So let's get started. Before we begin, just a couple of housekeeping notes. Let me mention that this webinar is being recorded, and a link to the recording along with today's slide deck will be posted on our website at nationalguild.org, as well as emailed to each of you by the end of this week. So please feel free, if there's others at your institution or partner organizations that would like to view the webinar, to please go ahead and share that when it's available. The webinar is scheduled to last 60 minutes. And due to the large number of participants, your lines have been muted. If you'd like to ask a question, you'll see off the side here on this slide, and on your screens there is a chat box. So all you need to do is type your questions into the chat and hit send. And we will be monitoring those questions throughout the presentation and pausing periodically to respond to them, as well as leaving ample time at the end to cover all of the questions. So our goals today: we are here to help you understand the components of the Catalyzing Creative Aging Program and how to craft a compelling application. During the webinar, we'll provide an overview of the current demand for creative aging programs nationwide. We'll go through the different program activities in both phase 1 and phase 2 of the program, and then walk you through the eligibility criteria and the application itself. And we'll really review the characteristics of an effective application in detail with you. Again, we will be stopping periodically. So again, just submit those questions via the chat box and we'll get to them throughout the presentation. Following the webinar, we'll ask you to complete a very quick evaluation survey. So that just helps us know what questions you have and how well we did, and you can expect to receive that in your inbox within the hour after the presentation ends. So the Catalyzing Creative Aging Program is a new program, again, being provided in partnership with Lifetime Arts, and it is a multi-phase program, and it's specifically designed to support the establishment of new creative aging programs at nonprofit arts education organizations throughout the country. This means that you may be offering creative aging already at your institution, but this program is specifically if you are interested in developing a new program that you would be looking to implement in the fall of 2018. Or if you are not currently providing creative aging programs at your institution, and this is an area you'd really like to begin to offer some programming in, again, this is a program that is really designed to give you the training and technical assistance and some seed grants to really help you design and then implement that program. So the goals of the program are to increase the capacity of organizations like yours to serve older adults through skill-based participatory arts programs. So programs that are really looking at providing those high-quality artistic skills in various disciplines, and where older adults really have an opportunity to roll up their sleeves and they are students in these programs, learning the skills and engaging with other older adults and with professional teaching artists. We hope that also through this program that we'll be able to provide models of successful creative aging programs to the field, as well as raise public awareness about the benefits of creative aging programs. Maura, do you want to mention just briefly a little bit about the state of the field. I know we're going to go into more detail, but I know while creative aging has been a field of practice for a while, it's a fairly still nascent field. I don't know if you want to mention a little bit more about sort of the intention behind the program and why it's focused on new creative aging programs.
Sure. There are, have been for many years organizations implementing creative aging programs or arts and aging programs. But the work, as the demographics are changing, and we'll talk a little bit about this later, the work is becoming more focused from Lifetime Arts and from the Guild on community-based programming and the benefits of active engagement in arts learning programs for older adults. We'll talk a little bit later about who we're talking about and the specific characteristics. So, but it is becoming, and it is a cross-sector, vibrant, growing field, which the members of the Guild really are prime organizations to participate in this work.
Great. And Maura, Nathan, I'm going to hand things over to you to tell us a little bit more in more detail about the field of creative aging and the opportunity for nonprofit arts organizations in this space.
Sure.
Oh, and before I do, let me just say that the Guild has worked with Lifetime Arts for many years now, and I just wanted to Maura and Nathan are going to tell you a little bit about their work and about the field. But in particular, we piloted a day-long institute with Lifetime Arts at the Guild's Conference for Community Arts Education last year in Chicago. And we just wanted to share with you just a few of the many wonderful points of feedback that we received on their work in this space. Lifetime Arts is really an exemplary organization that's offering training and technical assistance to advance the field of creative aging, and we're just very proud to be partnering with them on this program.
Thanks, Heather. Just a little bit about Lifetime Arts. My colleague Ed Friedman and I established Lifetime Arts in New York in 2008 as a service organization to help develop an infrastructure for the emerging field of creative aging. As arts professionals and as caregivers, both, we saw a need to shift traditional senior programming from passive entertainment and one-shot deals to engaged learning by promoting arts education specifically for older adults. Lifetime Arts works across the country with public libraries, arts and cultural organizations, and senior service organizations. We provide training and professional development, as well as online resources and technical assistance. Our goal is to help community-based organizations deliver engaging, participatory programs that recognize older adults as creative and social learners. We are really thrilled to partner with the National Guild again and to have the opportunity to work with its many members on this important growing segment for community arts education. So what is creative aging? There are 3 areas of practice: health and wellness, civic engagement, and lifelong learning, which is what Lifetime Arts focus is, as well as the Guild's. We define creative aging as professionally led, sequential, skill-building, instructional arts programs in all arts disciplines. It's arts education for older adults. Its chief characteristics include mastery, learning something new or in more depth, and social engagement, making new connections in a socially supportive community environment. Creative aging is a fast-growing field in which a variety of organizations that serve older adults across multiple sectors are starting to provide opportunities for creative expression through visual, literary, and performing arts programming. A 2006 landmark study, the Creativity and Aging Study, underpins much of the work in creative aging. The study's author, Gene Cohen, and others discovered that the aging brain is far more plastic than previously believed, and that structured learning, especially through the arts, can improve cognitive functioning and enhance the quality of life. So worldwide, the population is aging due to falling fertility rates and rising longevity. In the United States, average life expectancy has increased by 30 years. This demographic shift is not a temporary situation. This is a permanent shift towards an older population. We're talking about people who are 55 to 100 years old and better. We see older adults, including ourselves, as whole, intelligent, creative, and social people. We are all in this aging club. Nobody is excluded. We're talking about people, this is a huge and diverse group of, spans 50 years, quite an enormous and growing group. As an aging population, millions of people are expected to live almost 30 years longer than society has planned for. But thanks largely to baby boomers, the largest group of older adults, a new view of aging has emerged, and it's positive. As artists, we embrace the asset-based approach and look at aging as a time full of potential, engagement, opportunity, and growth. This demographic shift and the corresponding shift in attitudes about aging is affecting every aspect of our society, including work and service, family structures, healthcare, community planning, labor policies, financial services, higher education, and most importantly, for each individual and for every community, the quality of life. For community schools of the arts, this movement presents a need and an opportunity to rethink programming, connect to new constituents, expand services, revitalize facilities, and engage new community partnerships.
Thank you, Maura. So this is a vibrant and growing field, and the Guild is just overjoyed to be able to partner with Lifetime Arts, again, not only because of their expertise, but because we see that not only is there great demand, but just great opportunity for so many of our member organizations to deepen their commitment to their communities by serving older adults. The Catalyzing Creative Aging Program, as I mentioned, is a multi-phase program. The first phase of the program runs from this November 2017, through June of 2018. And the first phase of the program is really focused on providing training and technical assistance to you and your organization to better understand the needs of older adults and how to design and implement a program that can best serve their needs and work within your existing infrastructure as an organization. So we're going to talk with you a little bit about what's encompassed in that phase. It includes a day-long pre-conference institute before the Guild's Conference for Community Arts Education, which will be led by Lifetime Arts, and a follow-up workshop and one-on-one coaching with Lifetime Arts on site in San Francisco. And we'll talk to you a little bit about that. And then in phase two, all the organizations that are accepted to participate in phase one, and we are accepting 20 Guild member organizations. And if you are not a Guild member organization yet, we'll talk with you in a moment about how to join and the eligibility requirement. But the 20 organizations that participate in phase one, in the training and technical assistance in phase one, will be eligible to apply in the spring of next year for phase two. And that phase two includes seed grants of up to $7,000 to implement the program that you've worked to design in phase one. You will be notified by June of 2018 and receive that funding in July to implement your program in the fall of 2018. So we just wanted to give you a brief overview of the two phases, and we're going to go ahead and dive into more detail about what program activities are included in each phase now. So as I said, phase one just kicks off at the Guild's conference, and Nathan is going to talk with you a little bit more about what's involved.
Great, thanks, Heather. As Heather was saying, this initiative is going to begin with that full-day training in San Francisco, a pre-conference where up to 40 participants, including the 20 who are selected to be a part of this cohort, will have the opportunity to work with master teaching artist Annie Montgomery and other creative aging experts. In this full-day institute, Lifetime Arts will report on the state of the field and examine the growing impact of the creative aging movement. Participants will learn about current research, public and private funding trends, best practices in program design and implementation, and building arts and aging community partnerships. Through exercises and case studies, participants will understand the importance of the dual-prong approach of skills mastery and social engagement in the design of the program. They will examine ageism and generational differences and the impact it has on the program and its delivery, and we will also share marketing tips and proven strategies for engaging older adults. Participants will also assess how the addition of this type of program to their menu of services will increase their own community engagement profile and also add potential revenue streams. Following that full day of training, the 20 supported participants will dive deeper into program design and implementation strategies, again with Annie Montgomery. Lifetime Arts senior staff will also work with each participant one-on-one to identify specific technical assistance needs and to help shape the next steps towards developing specific program plans so we can really customize a plan going forward.
And Nathan, I'm just going to stop you just for a second because we've got a couple of questions just to clarify, if you could go back one slide. So the day-long institute with Lifetime Arts on November 15th, it will be held in Oakland, California. And then on the November 16th, that's where you would be engaging with the 3-hour small group workshop that is just for program participants and the one-on-one coaching. We do intend for this program to be accessible to organizations around the country. So your participation in both of those program activities on November 15th and November 16th are included. They're free of charge. There's no registration cost for participation. And we do have travel stipends available to offset the cost of sending a representative from your organization to Oakland and San Francisco to participate. So the intention is that this is really, equitably accessible to all organizations around the country. So there's no registration fee, and there are travel stipends to support your travel to San Francisco and Oakland.
Great, thank you, Heather. So after those 2 days between December 2017 and June of 2018, Lifetime Arts will deliver a series of webinars along with online resources, and we will provide programming tools and templates to help prepare each organization to design their exemplary program. We will also be having individual technical assistance sessions that will help interested organizations to apply for that seed funding as well. In this next phase, this is where we're going to put into practice all of the training and technical assistance up to this point. Those organizations who participated in the pre-conference and the training will be eligible to apply for seed grants to implement new creative aging programs. There will be 10 grants awarded up to $7,000 each. Our goal is to help each of you develop and design the best possible program proposal. And so to that end, we will continue to provide technical assistance through your proposal process. And also, we would like to invite up to 2 more staff from each participating organization to take part in this phase of technical assistance. So if you want to, you can create a small team that can also go through this process with us. And then let's also look at a quick timeline. So the seed program application will open up in April of 2018. The proposals will be due in May, and then organizations will be notified in June. And then the actual implementation of the programs will happen in the fall of 2018. During that time, we will also continue our technical assistance for the seed grant recipients to help them through the phases of their implementation. Okay, and I'm going to throw it back to Heather.
Great, thank you. And one thing I'll just add there, who's gotten a couple of questions, is that, we certainly hope that all 20 organizations will apply for the seed grants and be ready to do so in phase 2, but that is not a requirement of participating in phase 1. So if you do end up getting accepted into the program and feel that you're not ready to really implement the program quite yet, or you need a little bit more time, that's okay. And your technical assistance and training will go all the way through June. But as Nathan said, one of the really wonderful elements of this program, I just want to emphasize, is that if you are interested in applying for phase 2, that Lifetime Arts will be providing additional technical assistance and coaching through that application process to really strengthen your application for the seed grant phase. And the $7,000 seed grant is a one-time grant for the implementation of your program in the fall. Those 20 organizations that participate in phase 1, I'm just looking at a question that came in, so I'll go ahead and answer it, is that the 20 organizations that are accepted into phase 1 will be selected through a review panel that includes Guild staff and Lifetime Arts staff. All right, Nathan. So our eligibility requirement, as we've mentioned a couple of times already in the presentation, that you do need to be a full member in good standing of the National Guild for Community Arts Education in order to be eligible for this program. A full member of the Guild is a nonprofit organization or government agency or a division thereof that offers high quality arts education for all. And if you are not currently a member, you will need to apply and complete an application by September 12th. So the deadline for the program, to apply for the program, is September 19th. And we will need to receive your membership application a week prior to be eligible. If you have any questions about applying to the Guild, you can certainly contact me, or we can talk about it at the end of the presentation. And there is an application available on our website. We'll go into a little bit more detail about that in just a moment. We are asking that you have an annual operating budget of $150,000 or more. This is largely to ensure that you have enough funds to really implement and sustain the program beyond the period of the grant. We ask that you are operating as a 501c3 organization. So I just want to point out that organizations operating currently under the fiscal sponsorship of another agency are not eligible for this program. And then we ask that you have a demonstrated interest in developing a new program at your organization. We're going to show you the program application in particular, and that is where we're going to ask a few questions around your current interest in developing new programs. As I mentioned earlier, you do not already have to have a program designed prior to applying, but we will talk with you a little bit more about what we're looking for in the application. And then the programs really, again, as Maura mentioned earlier, should be with the vision toward increasing older adults' social engagement and mastery of artistic skill and knowledge through arts learning activities. Maura, do you want to say a little bit more about that particular eligibility requirement and what this program is not designed to serve?
Sure. These programs are about, the goal is instructional, though the results of engagement in creative aging programs may be therapeutic. These are not arts therapy programs. These are designed through scaffolded sequential workshop sessions to build skills in a particular art form. So when we talk about learning activities, we're looking at, in the case of this project, at least 12 sequential sessions each session, and we'll talk a little bit about this later on when we get to the application procedure, of at least 90 minutes each. So this is what we're looking at, not therapy. Those are important work. There's enormous work going on for older adults and with cognitive impairment and Alzheimer's, but this program and the interest of the Guild and our area of expertise is instructional programming. It's arts education for older adults.
Thanks, Maura. And then just to reiterate that we are asking that a representative of your organization is able to fully commit to all of the program activities described in phase 1 that Nathan just went over with you, and able to participate in the day-long institute on November 15th in Oakland and the follow-up workshop in San Francisco on November 16th. Again, there is no registration fee for either of the activities on November 15th and 16th, and needs-based travel stipends are available to make that opportunity open to everyone. But we do ask that at least one person from your organization is able to participate in all of the program activities in phase 1. And then, as Nathan said, if additional members of your team would like to follow up, participate in the follow-up coaching after the November 15th Institute, we welcome their participation as well. All right. Let's see if we have any. I have a few other questions here, Nathan. So let's just take a pause before we dive into the application process. I had one question around whether or not you can build on an existing program. And again, I just want to reiterate that you do need to be, the focus is on establishing a new program and not in expanding an existing program.
This is Maura, Heather. I'll just pop in here for a second. Expansion, you would have to, if you were to build on or change or, to change an existing program, you would have to make a case for why it is significantly different from what you've been doing. So it's just not a continuation or an expansion, but if it's something that's significantly different, then that's, couldn't be considered. But you have to make the case.
Great. And then just on that end, maybe more, you can answer this too. I had a question here about, can programs serve intergenerational cohorts, or does the program need to be exclusively designed for a group of older adults?
No, intergenerational programming is a great part of creative aging. The idea is, though, that whatever the generations are that are included are both there as learners together. So it's if the it's the curriculum that's presented, it's the outcomes for both groups, or however many generations are involved, are learning outcomes that needs to be clearly articulated.
Great. Okay, let's we have a few more questions, but I think we'll get to them in the rest of the presentation, so let's move forward. So steps to apply. There are actually 3 steps to apply for the program. And the first one, as I mentioned, is that you do need to be a full member of the National Guild. So a full member is a tax-exempt organization or government agency, and again, or a division of one of those. So, for example, a preparatory program within a college and university is a common one that we see. Again, if you are not a member, please join by September 12th. That means that we need to have received your application and your dues payment. Dues are calculated on a sliding scale based on your current year operating expenses. So if you are an independent organization and all that you are doing is offering across your organization, you are a community school of the arts and arts education is all that you do, then the dues are based on your current year operating expenses for your organization. If your school, if you're a preparatory program within a larger college or university, or an education department within a larger performing arts organization, for example, then your dues are based on the annual operating expenses for the arts education division only, not that of the entire parent organization. That's a question we often receive here at the Guild, and I just always find it helpful to mention that. So we're not going to take you there now, but you can find a membership application on the Guild's website at nationalguild.org/join, and you can find out more about the benefits of joining the Guild beyond this program. I'd be happy to certainly answer any questions you or your team has about membership in general, and then there is a link to the PDF membership application from that page as well as the dues chart. So that's step one, and if you're not sure if your organization is a member of the Guild, please feel free to email me and we can look that up for you. Step two is to complete the program application. So we're going to take you there in just a minute and walk you through the different elements of a competitive application. But again, step one, you need to make sure that you're a member of the Guild or to join by September 12th. Step two, to go to this link, which you can find all over our website and here as well, which will take you to the program application. Again, I want to reiterate that you are not expected to have designed a new creative aging program prior to applying. That is what the training and the technical assistance in phase one is really designed to help you with. But as we move through the application, we do want to see that you and your organization have a commitment to serving older adults, and that your organization and staff really have the capacity to implement and sustain a successful program. So Nathan, let's go ahead and dive into the application. Great. So again, we are going through the eligibility criteria and guidelines on this presentation, but really urge you to sit down with them and with anyone else who's going to be completing the application with you to review them closely before completing the application and to check your Guild membership status before completing the application. The beginning of the application is very simple. We're just going to be asking you a few questions about your organization, where you're located, some general information on your organization. We do ask what is your organization's primary artistic, and then half of your programming is really within more than one discipline. That's an option to select, but if you really mostly identify, for example, as a music education organization and you may have one theater class, please select music as your primary discipline. Number 5, we are asking for a primary contact at your organization. This may or may not be the person that will be attending the program activities in phase 1. So this should be the person that is responsible, is the point of contact for the application in the application phase. Later in the application, we will ask you if this is the same person that intends to participate in the training and technical assistance in phase 1. So here on number 5, just put the person that is going to be the point of contact on the application. And then we ask you how many full-time and part-time administrative staff members are employed at your organization. This is really to help us assess the capacity of your organization to sustain and implement the program. Please do not worry if you volunteer-run organization, for example. So if you have questions about this, please follow up with us, but this is a chance for us to just make sure that there's enough capacity on both the administrative side of your organization and the teaching artist side of your organization to really implement and sustain the
focus are important, but we're looking to demonstrate the viability of creative aging programs in a wide variety of community arts organizations. Broad range of organizations.
Great. And to that end, older adults, you are certainly eligible to apply for this. That's exactly, a great example of the establishment of a new program. Administrative staff, would this be for the entire organization or only the education department, which is a great question. And in that instance, we are really looking for just the administrative staff members within the education department who would be responsible for carrying this out. However, if you want to make a note, which I think is a great point, that you do have a marketing staff that supports your education programming. If there's staff outside of the department that supports the education department within your organization, go ahead and count them, because that helps us know that you help to market and fundraise for the program. Okay. For question number 8, organizational budget, I think I just went through that. Again, we're looking at your current year operating expenses. And again, if you are a division of a larger parent organization, we want you to bring older adults. It is not a criteria that you're currently serving older adults, but it's helpful to know if you already have programming going on for older adults. And then down under individual participants, this is where we're asking who you intend to actually send as a representative of your organization to participate in the program activities. So on, Nathan, if you can scroll down to question 10. The primary program participant, so this would be the individual at your program activities in phase 1. So the November 15th on-site coaching and all of the ongoing technical assistance, which will be happening online through webinars and Zoom chats through June. So that's the primary program participant. It may or may not be the same person that is the primary contact for the application. And then as Nathan mentioned earlier on question 11, to participate in the program as a team. So you can list up to 2 additional staff members, contractors, or partners who may participate in the technical assistance. So they're beyond. So we can only accommodate 1 representative of each organization on the November 15th Institute, but beyond that, we can accommodate teams of up to 3 in the technical assistance and coaching. And if you have a sense of who you might want to participate in that portion of the program along with the primary participant, please go ahead and list those names and their titles and affiliations in that box under question 11. We've gotten a couple of questions as to whether that person can, one of those team members can be a representative of an organization that you would like to partner with, and provide a couple of examples of who else might be on that team. And it can certainly be a representative of a potential partner organization as well. All right, Nathan, I'm going to turn things over to you to the nitty-gritty of the narrative. And this is the section of the application where we're really asking you to tell us a little bit more about why you're applying and to demonstrate your commitment to designing a program and being part of this initiative.
Great, thank you. So in this section of the form of the application, we're going to ask you for a few narrative questions. Please do note that for each section there is a word limit of 300 words. But first, we're going to ask you for your commitment to the work through your organization's commitment to creative aging, as evidenced by your mission, your strategic plan, and other indicators. So we want to hear about your organization, and if you as your mission statement, do you intend to serve everyone in your community, which would include older adults? Has your organization recently made strategic plans to target this population? Or are there other indicators by your organization that shows that you're committed to the work and that there's a plan for sustainability?
Okay, so in this section also the goal is to learn about you and your commitment, as Nathan said, so we don't need to learn from you about creative aging. What we need to learn from you is helping you to focus and look at older adult services.
And then for value, what do you and your organization hope to gain from participating in this initiative at this point? Is there a reason why your organization wants to join now? Again, that could point to your strategic plans, but also by taking part of this initiative, does this poise your organization to further sustain the programming? Is it a good time for you to take this on? So we want to know how this will impact you as an organization. For vision, we want to know if you already have some ideas around what kind of programming you would like to do. If you've started to think about this already and you have something in the work, give us a description of what you're thinking about, whether it's a very specific discipline or genre you want to explore, but also let us know what your goals are if you've started to begun to think about this. That this program is appropriate for your organization and for your community. Are you aware of other organizations that are doing this work? Would you be the only one in your area to do this? Is there a specific demographics or populations that you're trying to reach? So again, let us know how this is going to impact your constituents and if you are meeting a need for your community. For expertise, know how they can use their expertise in service to this initiative as part of the cohort to implement the actual programs. And lastly, for partnership, if you have any experience with partnering with non-arts organizations, let us know if you have any current partners, or if you have partnerships in mind that you would like to connect with to create a more robust program. We would like to know about that as well.
Great, and we have a bunch of questions that have just come in, so I think we'll take a pause and answer some of them. But before we do, I think one of the things I just want to make sure to point out is that you may want to work with other members of your team to complete this application and spend some time, or have various people help with the narrative. You do have the ability to save this application as you go. So if you want to start drafting something and then have members of your team review it or edit it, you are free to do that. Just make sure to hit that nice submit button at the bottom by September 12th, or we won't be able to capture your responses. So just want to make sure that is addressed. So just a couple of questions around the narrative and the steps so far that have come in, Maura and Nathan. One, a participant is still just curious about the framing of a new program. If an organization has a demonstrated commitment to working with older adults, they certainly would want to build on what their effective practices thus far. So the question is there a catch-22 here? We're asking for a demonstrated commitment to serving older adults, but also want new programs. And so I'll take a first stab at that, and Nathan and Maura, please chime in. I would say absolutely you want to build your new, if you are already, have something that's working for your organization and an awareness of how to design a program that is effective for older adults, we absolutely want you to build on your expertise and your knowledge in the implementation of a new program. So we certainly don't want you to have to reinvent the wheel. The program, however, is designed not to support an existing program, but actually a new program for the community of older adults that you are serving. That is clear. Maura, maybe you and Nathan can clarify that further.
Well, I think one of the things, one of the underlying reasons for doing this is because we are looking to seed new programs to bring more people into the world of creative aging and to actually, create more programs in the country. So many organizations have little or no experience in this population, so that we're kind of aiming at them. But you are right that having the commitment already is important. How that commitment has been operationalized is, I think, part of what we're looking for. But looking at new programming, it's, in your work with doing creative aging, you may have uncovered a particular aspect or discipline or something that you haven't paid attention to or haven't been able to create programming around. That would be considered a new program, or maybe it's a new format. Maybe the formatting of your current programming for older adults is not the kind of sequential, scaffolded, minimum number of sessions kind of program. So if that would be a departure for you in your work, then that's an absolutely, fundable, credible proposal.
Maura, another question similar to that. There is an organization that is interested in establishing a new program within the New Horizons music curriculum. And this is, of course, a trademark program. Would that program be eligible for the Catalyzing Creative Aging initiative?
Again, I think it would have to make the case for why this is different than the other kinds of programs that the New Horizons program offers. Is it, what is it about it that it makes it different, that makes it more aligned with this creative aging, Catalyzing Creative Aging Program? Is it a different discipline, a different instrument? Is it a different group, a different population, a different format? All of those things can come into play.
A question about, someone had asked, can we give an example of a non-arts organization that a Guild member organization might partner with to provide a creative aging program? And Maura and Nathan, I know you are working a lot with public libraries, for example, as partner organizations. I can share that there are many Guild members currently who are partnering with senior centers, with hospitals, and with other aging services organizations to provide programming. I don't know if you have other examples to share of non-arts organizations. But
I think the other would be, for instance, community organizations like YMCAs and community groups like that. Those are organizations that serve older adults, but not always with sequential skill building programming.
Right, great. Another question around the primary participant. Does the primary participant at the conference, so again, the person that's going to be participating in the phase 1 program activities, does that person need to be the same person who leads the program during implementation in the fall of 2018? And I would say no. In many cases, it may be that the program director at your institution is really going to be the primary participant in phase one and really developing the programming and designing it, and that another individual may be actually implementing and leading that program in phase two. It may be the same, but it does not have to be.
Right, and that's why you know, the opportunity to bring more people into the team after phase one is an opportunity to, you know, if the primary person is going to hand over the reins to somebody else, there is an opportunity to bring that person in at some point earlier on in the technical assistance and training.
Absolutely. Maura, Nathan, a question here around the requirement that in the seed grant phase that the periods of instruction, the sessions, be 90 minutes. This is a dance-based organization that is curious if 90 minutes and for some disciplines may be too long for older adults to participate, and if there's any flexibility in the duration of those sessions.
Well, I'll just say that we, over the many years that we've been working, have supported many arts, dance programs specifically for older adults. And this is where the notion of intentional social engagement comes in, where the design of each workshop session you know, acknowledges and accommodates the variety of participants and their physical capacities and needs. But we have found also that 90 minutes is kind of the minimum for making sure that both mastery and social engagement are fully loaded into each session. So there are lots of examples that we can share with you around successful dance programs for older adults. So I would say that, you know, for this project, that the 90 minutes is the minimum, and you know, the capacity of older adults to you know, for their stamina, for instance, during a dance program, depends on the design of the session. They don't have to be dancing for 90 minutes. You know, there's lots of other learning opportunities and social engagement opportunities that could be in that space.
Thanks, Maura. A couple of folks have asked if you could talk a little bit more about the caveat that the program should not be therapy programs or therapeutic programs. This particular organization is interested in developing a program for individuals with Parkinson's disease. Can you talk a little bit more about the distinction between the sequential skill building emphasis of this program and versus supporting therapy programs?
Okay. Yes, I can. The difference is you know, what we have found over the years is that older adults who come to these programs come around the learning and around the social engagement. The therapeutic benefits are visible and constant in that people, and this is borne out by research, people have, you know, fewer doctor visits, they're engaged in more activities, they make new friends. You know, we have many you know, stories of people coming through creative aging programs that are instructional based, feeling much better about their lives, or for instance, getting engaged, which has happened a few times in our programming. So Parkinson's disease and programming for Parkinson's, there are some great examples of that program that doesn't have to do with cognitive disability as much as physical limitations. And there is, in all of these programs, because we're dealing with an aging population, you know, some instances of physical loss, or you know, or cognitive loss, but the goal is instructional. It's assuming ability rather than disability. And in the case of Parkinson's, that is an area that requires another level of medical intervention or expertise that we don't have. But there are some great, there's the Dance for Parkinsons program that was started by Mark Morris, and they have tremendous resources around this work. So I would, look at that. But the goals of these community-based programs are instructional. The results are often therapeutic. But it is very different. These are not about arts therapists. These are not arts therapists. These are professional teaching artists conducting these and facilitating these learning experiences.
Great. Let's go ahead and move on, and then we have a few more questions that we can answer at the end. So again, to reiterate, you're going to check your for participants in the Catalyzing Creative Aging Program, which this webinar is addressing. Another 20 will be open to the general public for a fee. So by going ahead and filling out the form and not paying at this time, that will hold your spot. And if for some reason you are not accepted into the full program, you will still have an opportunity to register for the Institute should you choose to do so. When finalizing your registration for the conference, you're going to, when it comes up to the payment option, you're going to select check for the payment option. And then you will actually be assigned a confirmation number. We will be notifying you by October 4th of your acceptance into the program, and you will have a week to notify us as to whether or not you are choosing to participate and to go ahead and complete your registration. Again, if all you are going to be doing is participating in the November 15th Institute and the follow-up workshop on the 16th with the one-on-one coaching, there would be no payment required once you confirm your acceptance. Again, should you not be accepted into the program, you'll still have an opportunity to register like the general public. And if you would like to stay on and participate in the rest of the conference on November 17th and 18th, you'll have the option to go ahead and register and would be required to pay for those days, those additional days that fall outside of the program activities. So you're going to check your membership, fill out your program application, and again, register for the Catalyzing Creative Aging Institute on the Guild Conference website by September 19th. And then Nathan, if you just want to pull up again, we've got a couple of questions, or how will I know if I've been accepted? When we received all of the applications on the 19th, the National Guild staff and Lifetime Arts staff will be reviewing all of those applications and ranking them. You will be notified by October 4th if you've been accepted into the program, and we'll have a week to confirm your participation. So we're asking you to confirm your participation by October 11th. So you have roughly about a little over 4 weeks before that first program activity in November. All right. So that is the conclusion of our presentation. We have a couple of more minutes, and we can stay on and answer some additional questions that are rolling in. I know we are almost at our hour, so if you do need to drop off the line now, I will just reiterate that we will be posting a recording of this webinar on the Guild's website, as well as emailing you the recording by the end of this week. So if there's others on your team or at partner organizations that could benefit by hearing today's presentation, we really encourage you to share it with others. And all of the links that were provided in those application step slides are on the Guild's website. So if you go to nationalguild.org, on the home page is an announcement of this program, or you can go to our programs page, and on the detail page for this program, you'll find all of those relevant links that we just shared with you as well. So Maura and Nathan and I will stay on for the next few minutes to answer some remaining questions. I want to thank everyone for your interest in this new program, and certainly encourage you, if you do have additional questions that we are unable to get to in the next few minutes, to please, we are happy to answer them. So a couple of questions that are rolling in. Is there any way that we can see a copy of the full 2018 application form? That is just the link that we shared with you. It is an online form. Drew, are you still with us?
Yes, I'm here.
Is there a way for folks to actually download the form as a PDF, or do they need to view it as online?
They would need to view it online, but we could create, I could create a PDF version to share with folks if that would be helpful.
Great, wonderful. A question again around cost. Is there a cost for the 4 days of the conference if you are accepted? Again, to reiterate, if you are accepted into the program, there is no cost for November 15th and 16th. That is the day-long institute, the Catalyzing Creative Aging Pre-Conference Institute, and November 16th would be the follow-up workshop and one-on-one coaching. So you would not have to pay for anything for those first 2 days of the conference. If you were interested in staying and participating in the main conference activities beyond that point, you would have to add those to your registration and just pay for those activities on the 17th and 18th. A question here, if phase 2 seed funding is for $7,000, since we will be starting a new program, will there be help in phase 2 or even in phase 1 to search for additional funding to sustain the new program? Maura, I'm going to throw that one over to you.
We can certainly talk to you about possible funding sources during that technical assistance time. Sure. Can't guarantee anything, but we can talk to you about what we have learned over these years about the kind of funding that is made possible and available.
Great. A couple of questions have come in around fiscal sponsorship. So if you have not received your 501c3 status and are using a fiscal sponsor until you have received your 501c3 status, you will not be eligible for the program. So we've gotten a couple of questions in about that. The phase 2 application is not available yet, so we will be announcing the phase 2 application in the spring of 2018. Again, only the 20 organizations that participate and are accepted into phase 1 will be eligible to apply for the seed grants in phase 2. And there will be travel stipends available to folks who are participating in phase 1 and have a need for stipends to offset their travel costs to the conference in San Francisco and Oakland. There is not an application fee to participate in or to apply for the program. And let me just see if there's... And I have one last question, Maura and Nathan. around the types of programs that this initiative supports. We have an organization here that offers the majority of their programming to older adults online, virtually, and was curious if this initiative would support that type of program.
Good question. It depends on the discipline. For instance, part of the, it really depends on the discipline and also the format of the online learning. If participants, if the virtual participants can see each other and talk with each other as a group to allow for social engagement, then that's possible. But these as arts learning programs are about learning to use the materials and techniques of a given art form. So unlikely that it would be successful in terms of visual arts. It could be theater. We have done some work with theater and writing, but it's not an easy thing to do. And the goals here are social engagement and people connecting to each other to make new connections. So I would welcome any direct questions about that. The organization can certainly call us and we can talk about it. But online learning is not generally an easy fit for this kind of programming.
Great. And just a couple of final questions. Someone asked if this will be a one-time program or if there'll be another renewed opportunity for the following year. And this is a pilot program. We hope that we'll be able to continue it. And again, it is a program that in full runs from November of this year through the end of 2018. So stay tuned on that. Someone else asked if the primary program participant needs to stay for the full conference. I think I answered that earlier, but the primary program participant that you put down in the application only needs to commit to staying for November 15th for the full day institute and November 16th for the follow-up workshop and on-site coaching. And then it's up to you if you would like that representative to stay on for the additional days of the conference. And if a couple of people asked if they're not eligible for this program, if they can still register for the Institute, and yes, you can. You can just go to the communityartsed.org website and go ahead and register as a member of the general public, and the fees for that are listed on that registration page. I think we got to most of the questions today. If your question was not addressed, I have a record of all of them, so we will come through them and get back to you if your question was not answered. I want to again thank Maura and Nathan for being partners with us on this incredible new program. We're delighted to be working with Lifetime Arts to provide our members training, technical assistance, and grants in creative aging. And I also want to thank Drew Malmuth for helping us today with today's webinar, and thank all of you for your strong interest in the program. And again, want to encourage everyone to reach out to the Guild if you have any additional questions about the application or anything that was discussed on today's webinar. We're here to help you and together with Lifetime Arts to help you build the most compelling application for the program. So thanks everyone, and look out for the recording in the next few days.